Hey, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When CJ and I were trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps that people like to listen to? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use too. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. We use Anchor because we live over an hour away and it brings us together as if we're in the same room. The sound quality is better than Skype and more reliable too. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing so, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join us and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.
Hey CJ, remember that one time?
Oh yeah, it was fucking epic.
You're listening to
Remember That One Time,
the Inappropriate Storytime Podcast.
and these are not your mama's fairy tales.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Remember That One Time with your hosts, Chris.
And CJ.
And welcome to our 25th episode. Woo!
Yes.
People told us that we would never make it past 3. Just kidding. People didn't tell us anything because nobody paid attention or cared that we even had a podcast. And
But
yet,
it's fine.
yep, here we are. We are thriving and surviving. That somebody needs to trademark that. Thriving and like the
Yeah,
Huh?
that's already taken. That's a thing.
thriving and surviving. That's I mean, with a little apostrophe at the end, like no G's. It needs to be on a Tumblr or
It's right next to moving and grooving.
ah, damn it. Here I was thinking I was being original.
Right.
Anyways, welcome to episode 25. We are going to stay with the theme of 25, and we're going to go over what we were doing when we ourselves were 25, you know, like last year, just a year ago. Then we're going to take a trip back in time even further to find out what the rest of the world was doing 25 years ago. And we will top it off with our top 25 list of favorite dick stories. These stories will they will be from us personally. They will be from listener submissions. Like, holy shit, thanks guys, you're listening. So thanks for that. And that's what we'll end it out as. So of course, this is your number one source for dick stories. At
Always.
any time of the day. If you're thinking, man, I haven't heard a really good story about someone's penis in at least like 3 weeks. Tune in. You know where to find us. iTunes, SoundCloud, apparently the podcast app on iPhones. I don't even know how it got there. I don't upload it to that. But apparently Apple's like, we're going to play all the podcasts. And I've shown up there too. So if you've got like the little icon on your iPhone that says podcasts, smack that bitch, scroll a little bit, and we'll be in there. This is where you can find 24/7 news coverage of penis.
Yes.
All day,
like it.
every day. Penis on the brain. Okay.
I like it.
Well, I will go ahead and start off with my 25th birthday, which was a big steaming pile of horse shit that I'm still pissed about.
I'm still not over it.
Me
I'm
either.
really
Okay.
not.
I
Fuck
was
him.
I was so pissed about this situation that I had to go get my license renewed that day, and I had to get a new picture taken because after however many years you're required to, and I couldn't just hold on to the youthful glow of my 18-year-old picture. But I had to get my picture taken, and I had such a like evil scowl of anger on my face. I looked like a Disney villain.
Yeah,
I
you
was-
definitely looked like someone shit in your Cheerios.
Oh yeah. Oh, they took a hot squash in my Cheerios. It was the absolute worst. So not only did like that day fuck up completely, I was stuck with the picture on my license for the next 10 years or 5, however many they make you keep the picture. So yeah, it it emanated throughout my life this one day. So my plan was to get me, CJ, my ex, and some other friends. I don't even remember what other people were involved, but we were all going to go. Oh, and CJ's ex-husband as well, of
Oh
course.
yeah, the
Yeah,
one that started all of the shit.
right. Well, we were supposed to all go hiking, like up to this waterfall, and then go camping, like wilderness camping, because that's something I've always wanted to do. But that didn't happen because I pulled out the like instructions of how to get to the hiking place or whatever, and you had to take a trail that included a tiny little corner of someone's private property to get to the hiking place, like to get to the place to camp. And I'm talking, it was like maybe 15 steps onto this person's property. And what are we even going to call this asshole?
We had a
Like,
name for him.
I
Or
don't
no,
remember.
that was yours. It was an acronym for I don't. The
Something.
word
I don't.
scab keeps coming to mind, and that's not it.
You know what? How about we just
Sposs.
call him
It was
Scab?
Sposs.
Oh, yeah,
But I
stupid
like.
piece of shit.
Okay, but yours was Sposs, so I'm cool with calling mine Scab. I
I'm
mean,
I'm down,
just call him Scab. God rest his soul.
right? You make it sound like he's dead.
He's not.
Oh, okay, well,
He's
breaking
dead to
news.
me.
Boom. There you go. Dead to me. So Scab here decides to get all high and mighty on his moral high horse and is all like, no, no, we can't do it. I'm not stepping foot on someone's property. That's trespassing. We're gonna get arrested and then we're gonna go to jail and then I'm gonna be anally butt raped, which woohoo. So,
I mean, right?
right, which would not have been a problem for him at
Right.
all. But he just, I mean, threw an absolute Disney princess bitch fit.
He
He
was a total diva.
He was. He went diva. Like he stood in the garage, not the garage. What's the thing that's
The
outside of the garage but
driveway.
he's in a parking lot. That's it. He stood in the driveway and like stomped his feet and ended up throwing the papers on the ground and was like, "No, I'm not going. We're not doing this." So I'm like, "Sorry, Dad. Like, who the
Right.
fuck are you to tell me what we're doing?" But
It's
being
my
the
birthday, bitch.
right. Well, I mean, now if that happened, yeah, it'd have been like, cool, eat a dick, and then I'd left. But I was so non-confrontational, and I'd only met this guy like maybe once or twice before, and me and CJ kind of had a hiatus of not hanging out until then. So I'm like, I don't want to like make people mad or anything, so fine, we'll do whatever. And so instead, we took our camping gear that we brought with us because we thought we were going camping, and we set up shop in CJ's backyard. Now, mind you, this backyard is like slanted straight down into a creek, like straight down.
Yep.
So this was futile anyway. There was no point in even doing it. So we got that all set up, and then halfway through the night, like the wind picked up so bad that uh oh, I don't know what to call her, but she was a coworker of mine. Her name starts with a J. She is a whole other story all in herself.
She's a
But
whole mess of something.
yeah, a hot mess for sure. Her tent went flying down into the little creek down the way, and I don't know if she ever actually like went and got it or if she just left it there,
I
but
think she left it there. There's
probably.
probably like some homeless people living in it now.
Well, I mean, there you go. Good for the community. Good for the environment, I'm sure.
Right.
So we moved and like set up shop in the basement of this house instead. And so me and my ex-husband are on this um, blow up mattress, inflatable. And we're just laying there, like eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling because my coworker that we brought with us is in the other room, completely fucking the brains out of some guy friend that Scab had. don't even know where he came from.
He
He was
just
just
kind of appeared.
he was just kind of there. Every time I saw that guy, he was just kind of here.
Hmm.
And yeah, so we spent the entire night listening to her get her fuck on. So that was my 25th birthday. I
Yeah.
was pissed. I mean, the only thing good that came out of it is we did buy liquor and we brought it with us because we thought we were going camping. And I ended up making candy apple shots that night. It was like green apple schnapps with caramel. What is it? Butterscotch, butter shots.
I thought you said butter snatch.
I
I wish you had said butter snatch.
I said butter snaps, and I don't know why that came to mind. But yeah, segue into something completely unrelated just for CJ. I want you to know that Ethan uses the phrase river snatch more than any human ever should now. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
I can't remember. How did that come about? What did
It
I say?
it was something at Plum Nelly. We just got out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
river and I don't remember exactly what, but your reply was something like, "Yeah, you don't want to smell that river snatch or something." I don't know.
Because it
You
was like 10 million degrees outside.
yeah, and
I
there
think
was
I
no
was,
AC.
yeah, I think I was talking about like the fact that like at least you're not here trying to, get a piece of your wife's river snatch. Because
Something.
we spent the entire day in the river and it's 1,000 degrees outside, so it's probably not the best.
Yeah, which would have made it 2000 degrees inside.
Right.
So we were just like stewing in river snatch. It was awful. So yeah, he's picked that up and he uses that way more than a human ever should.
I
So
love it.
congratulations.
Thanks.
So yeah, apparently I had candy apple and butter snatch shots, and my husband now
Why
says
is
river
that so
snatch.
funny?
What, butter snatch?
Yes.
I don't, you know what? Let's make our own mixed drink called butter snatch. It needs
God.
to have butterscotch, like butter shots. What is the other ingredient that could make it taste like a buttery snatch?
Um.
Fish oil?
I, oh God, that's disgusting. I was thinking like
Butterscotch.
Monistat.
Monistat? Yeah, because that's so much better to drink.
I
Yum.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know. You know what? I'll put a question up on Twitter later tonight and we'll see what our listeners have to say. What do
Okay.
you mix with butterscotch to get a nice, ripe, tasty butter snatch?
Nice.
I
I
love
like
it.
it.
All right. So now we've completely wasted that time. Yeah, that's pretty much wraps up my 25th birthday. And I honestly don't remember what I did for like 26, 27, 28, and 29. And then I had a 30th birthday bash.
I
So,
remember 26. Ben took us to Gatlinburg.
oh yeah, and I finally got to hike to a waterfall.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah,
So,
that was the
yay.
26th. I
Well,
don't
what
remember
was
any of the other stuff. I
me
don't know.
either?
We were
What
probably
was
drunk.
probably what was your 25th?
So I rented one of those big, massive slides, the inflatable slides,
Right?
with the water going down. It's got the pool at the end, and so we set it up at my parents' house. And
That was the first of many times that you rented that, by the way.
yeah, I rented it like 6 times over the course of 2 summers. Because I mean, it really wasn't that expensive, and it was hella fun. And
Mhm.
I loved the reaction every time they would come to set it up and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
Because
they'd ask where your
it's
kids are.
yeah, it's usually for children's birthday parties, and they'd be like, "So when are the kids getting here?" And I'm like, they're not.
Yeah, they
They're
better not be.
they're not invited. This is for adults only." Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Um. So anyway, so I rented that, and the dude I was dating at the time was supposed to be there, and then at the last second, he said that he couldn't come because he was taking his little brother to Disney World.
Fuck
So
that.
I'm like, okay, who
Fuck
just
that dude.
plans a spur of the moment? Like, I didn't know I was going yesterday, but now today, all of a sudden, I'm going to Disney World for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does that happen? So that was the first like suspicion that something is not quite right. So I was like, you know what? I just have a feeling that I'm entitled to feel pissed about this. So I was. And I was like, okay, I'm going to deal with tomorrow. Today I'm going to have a kick ass time. And I did. And so I later found out, after I did some digging, found out that he was actually dating this other girl the same time that he was dating me,
Fuck
and
that bitch.
he took her to Disney World, not his little brother. Found out he actually doesn't have a little brother. He has a big brother and a big sister, but not a little brother. So that was another lie. So I found out, and I was like, okay, deep down I know I'm not going to stay with this guy, because if he's already cheated on me once and we just got together, like, this is, it's doomed. But
Dude,
I
he
do want
took
to,
his side hoe to Disney on your birthday.
yeah, like,
Fuck that.
it's not going to work out. I know this. But number 1, I want to have a little fun. And number 2, I want to teach him a lesson that he will never forget. So I plotted and I thought about it long and hard. What am I going to do? So after I collected my thoughts, like, I was angry, I was, and I threw things and I got pissed. But then I was like, okay, you got to have a come to Jesus moment and figure out what you're going to do to this guy, because whatever it is, he deserves way worse than what you're going to do to him.
Yeah, you need to
So
go
I
full
was like,
Carrie
okay.
Underwood on him.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I got it. So I confronted him about the girl, and he freaked out and he was like, I don't want to lose you. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I think I might be falling in love with you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, you know what? There is one way, and one way only, that this is going to work. And the only way for this to work is if I know for sure that she's history. And the only way that I'm going to know that she's history is if
As
I
if I
see
kill her.
you. Well, that. I wasn't trying to go to jail. But
You're too pretty for that.
oh, right, way too pretty for prison. So I was like, you're gonna break up with her, and I'm gonna be there while you do it. And guess what else? You're gonna do it at your work, because
Bam.
if you don't, I'm gonna come to your work and I'm gonna smash your shit in front of all your coworkers. So that's what it's gonna be. I'm on my way there, and I messaged this girl too, and I was like, I found out that he's been seeing you behind my back. He's been seeing me behind your back. Let's go confront him at his work. And so we made plans to meet up. We were going to confront him together. Well, she thought we were going to confront him together. I knew that he was going to dump her ass in front of me. So we get there, and we're all standing there in this awkward circle. He worked at a hospital. He was a nurse. And so we're like in the waiting room, he's in his scrubs and everything, and and he's like, we're all just sitting there awkwardly, and I was like, well, what do you have to say? And he was like, he turned to her, and I can't even remember what her name was, like Emily or something. He was like, Emily, I love Courtney, I can't see you anymore. And she was like, jaw just dropped to the ground. And you know what that bitch said? She
Cool.
said,
I have cancer and I'm pregnant.
actually, yes.
Yes.
Dude, that's exactly what she said.
I'm sorry, but that's one of my favorite things that's ever happened to you, so I had to take that.
Oh my God. I was like, is this fucking really even happening? I
And
was
I
like, like, I kind of looked at her like, this is not what we talked about.
right.
What the fuck are you doing? You're off script, dude. Try again. And so
God.
she was legit. Like, she was, I mean, well, none of that was true, but she was sticking to her story. Like,
Yeah, she
that was her
was.
story. She actually worked at an OBGYN's office, and I'm pretty sure she violated like 16 rules by doing this. But she
HIPAA.
actually took a screenshot of someone else's ultrasound and blacked their name out of it and sent it to him, posing it as her child. Like, this is our child. She was never pregnant to begin with.
Nope.
Like, the whole time, like, she didn't know it, but I had friends that knew her, and
Mm.
this whole time that she said she was pregnant, she was drinking and partying. I mean, unless she's just like a terrible person that just doesn't care that she's giving her child fetal alcohol syndrome. I mean, maybe she was pregnant, I don't know, but all the drinking and partying, it led me to believe that she was not pregnant. So that
Well,
was a
she
great.
wasn't for long then.
Right, yeah. So that was a great 25th birthday. And so after we put him through the ringer, we put him through
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of other shit that I'm sure we've covered in other episodes, but I eventually dropped him, but it was fun to fucking mess with him. I made him drive all over the state. I strung him along, I stood him up, I made him drive places in the middle of the night. I freaking had him come in one time, and me and Ben and everybody had all our guns out, and he thought he was going to die. It was great. Even though, but I mean, like, I should have done way worse to him. Like, I should have just, I'm still waiting. I'm still plotting. I'm
Yeah. That's
not
something that
done.
we
I'm
used
not
to
done
talk
with him.
about like a year after you dumped him. Like, you think it's
Yeah.
enough time yet?
Yeah, because like you can't like okay, you break up with the dude, there's bad blood between you, and then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden he's got four slash tires. Like, come on, of course it was you. Like, you got to wait the correct period of time to where you're not the immediate person that is suspected. So, I mean, it's been like 7 years, so I think we're pretty safe. We need to
Yeah,
get on that and figure it out. But
exactly.
that was my 25th birthday and the weeks thereafter in a nutshell.
Yes. So we're gonna move the cake to the Dick story topic, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Oh
cool
wait,
beans.
no. Should we
What?
should we close with that and do the 25 years ago? A look back.
Um, what?
I
I'm
what?
confused. What?
I said, should we do the 25 years ago, a look back first and end with the dick stories?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was saying because at your birthday, I made you a special cake.
Yeah,
So I
but
was saying
that's in the dick stories.
that's what I was saying is do we tell that in the Dick
Oh,
stories or do we do that now?
yes, it's in the dick stories. Sorry. I moved it.
Okay.
I
Because I'm
moved it.
also looking at it in your stories.
Yes, that's why I skipped it.
I was confused.
Yeah, feel free to edit all this out.
No, fuck that. This is real. This is
Okay.
life.
All
You
right.
want a year in the life of us? Here you have it, bitches.
All right.
Raw.
Well, if that's the case, let me take another swig of my margarita.
You do that. I'm finishing my banana.
That's what she said.
Because we are professionals.
Yeah, we are.
So professional. I've got like iced tea and a banana. Yeah, good times.
Yep.
Okay. So we are gonna get in our time machine. Is that the sound of a time machine?
I'm glad that's what it sounds like.
Is it? I don't know. How does a time machine sound?
I have no
Doo doo
idea.
doo 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 doo. Is that better?
I think
Because
it
the first one
sounds.
kind of sounded like a squid.
I think it sounds a lot like that dude from Back to the Future.
Like the dude.
Something about the flux capacitor and uranium or something.
You never see the movie, did you?
I did, but it's been a long ass time.
Yeah, we have to go. Is it what, 88 miles an hour?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, well. Doo 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 doo. Okay. We are now 25 years into the past. We have arrived in the year of our Lord, 1994.
Yes.
Yes. The cost of a gallon of gas, and this is gonna like hurt your pocketbooks and your brain a little bit, $1.09.
God.
109. I drove past my local gas station and we are at 209 today.
And
Makes
that's a good deal too. Like, cause where I work in Franklin, it's like 257.
Yeah, fuck that. No, I will only get gas here in my hometown because I work in Nashville. And Nashville, it's still close to $3 a gallon. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I will drive on fumes. I will have Ethan pick me up if I have to. I am not getting gas
Right.
in Nashville.
I will literally pump $1 of gas, enough to get me out of Williamson County, and then I'll
Yes.
go to, some place around me that's got gas like 30 cents cheaper.
Yes. That's exactly what I do. Like, I hate this with every fiber of my being, but if I don't, I'm shit out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
So get me out of this county.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's see. The average cost of a movie ticket was $4.08. Now
Yep.
you can throw a one in front of it and they're like $14 each.
Yeah.
Stupid. The average cost of a new car was only $12,350. Honestly, you can probably still get a decent car for 12 grand. Like,
Maybe like
you're
a
not
new
gonna
one.
get, well, I mean, you're not gonna get a Lincoln or anything, but I've seen new Fords for like a Ford Focus or something for 12 grand.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess standard, like
Yeah.
base model and all that.
Exactly. You're not going to get anything like luxury or anything, but you can probably do it if you look long and hard. A
But
loaf of
that back
bread.
then, that was like a middle of the road car.
Oh yeah, that was your
Like,
like Toyota Camry.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's everybody's like vanilla car.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, a loaf of bread was $1.59, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay that much for bread now. I pay 89 cents at Walmart, and I get great value wheat bread, and it's 89 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too picky about bread. I don't like white bread, but bread is bread, you know?
Yeah, me and Ethan, we don't eat white bread either because it like gets stuck to your mouth.
Yeah, I don't like that. Fuck
No,
that.
so we have our great value wheat bread for 89 cents. Fuck that. A dozen eggs was only 86 cents. I don't know how much eggs cost because my husband doesn't eat eggs, so I don't buy eggs.
I don't know, like if you get the super cheap brand, like maybe a buck 89 or something.
Yeah. What happened to your chickens?
They all died.
Oh, okay.
They were
'Cause
eaten. They were eaten by foxes.
okay. Well, I
Yep.
just remembered I was sitting here thinking like, well, don't you have chickens? You should be getting free eggs unless they're freeloading hookers, in which case then you'd have to buy eggs. But then I'm like, wait.
surprisingly, surprisingly, I actually did the math on it one day back
Oh
when
God.
I did have chickens to find out how much it was costing me to keep the chickens alive and how many eggs they produce per day on average and blah blah blah. And it
Mhm.
was actually costing me about 250 per dozen eggs when you take into account, the all the feed and the all that bullshit. And so I was like, yeah,
So
this
don't blame the
is
foxes. You murdered those chickens to save money.
no, I really didn't. They just, I mean, they were free range. I mean, we just kept the door open and they would
Right.
just kind of be in the yard during the day and they would go to roost at night. And one day I came out and found a yard full of feathers.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, those are the average costs of 1994. Some notable events. Tanya Harding pulled like the world's greatest bitch move in the world.
Hell
She
yeah.
won.
She beat that
Yeah.
girl's ass.
Yeah, she did. Um, she won the national figure skating championship title, but was stripped of her title because she attacked the shit out of her rival Nancy Kerrigan with a baseball bat to the fucking knees. Like,
Like, does she work for a mob family
I
or?
guess. I mean, I have never been so passionate and upset about anything to where I'm like, okay, well, I won, but I didn't win good enough. So I'm gonna go and take out the kneecaps of my competitor with a baseball
So
bat.
she will never beat me again.
Exactly. And like, if you follow up on Tanya Harding, like, she is a hardcore badass. Do
Hmm.
not fuck with bitch. And she's
Right?
the only thing I remember now from with Tanya Harding, she is on all of those TV shows that are like world's world's worst criminals and stuff where they
Yeah.
show the little clips. I don't remember what channel it is, like TNT or something. But
Yeah,
they'll play
something
the
like
little
that.
clips of criminals like slipping and falling while they're trying to get away, and then it cuts to a celebrity and they're like, "Oh, ha ha, he's such an idiot." Like,
Right?
yeah, Tanya Harding is on like every single one of those. So I guess she's hard up for money. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I want to see, they made a biopic called I, Tanya, and I never watched it. And now I kind of want to.
Oh,
So
hell yeah.
if you have seen I, Tanya, and you think that it is awful or the best movie you've ever seen, tweet me, message me something, and let me know how I should proceed. Let's see. Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa. The only thing I know about him is that he ended apartheid. I don't exactly know what that is. I think it has to do with slavery. And
I don't
he,
have any idea about him.
no, me either. And he created something called the Mandela effect. It's when like, you swear something has happened and it never did happen, but it is so in your brain. What is the biggest
Dude,
Mandela
the
effect?
Bernstein Bears.
Yes, it's that. That's a Mandela effect.
I no, that is not the Mandela effect. That's the way it was back then. It was spelled with an E and they went back and changed everything. I will swear to you, I will lay down my life right now and swear to you, it used to be spelled with an E and they changed it to an A. I don't know
Oh,
how they did it, but they did it.
the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah,
Yes.
nobody said that. I mean, I remember teachers reading us those books all the time. And when they were reading the books, obviously the front of the book was facing us. And I remember looking at it going, oh, like, Bernstein Bears. Like, you know, everybody else that has a last name like Weinstein and Feinstein, like all the Steens. They must be related. The Bernstein Bears. Nobody ever said, let me read you this book by the Bernstein Bears. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah,
It fucks
apparently.
me up.
It fucks you up.
It fucks
Just
me
like
up.
the phrase "Luke, I am your father" was never, that's not a quote. Like that was never said in the movie.
I never saw the movie, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but everyone quotes it. It's it's said in a different way. Like it's similar, but that's not the word for word quote.
Oh,
Same with "Beam me up, Scotty." That's not even a quote. It's the Mandela effect. So this is really off topic all of a sudden, but yeah,
yeah. Now
Nelson Mandela.
we've gone back to the conspiracy episode.
I know, right? Yes.
Inception.
And then I know Nelson Mandela died recently. Like,
Like for real this time.
yeah, what do you mean this time?
That's the whole thing. Like that's how the Mandela effect became called being called the Mandela effect.
Oh,
People thought he was dead like way back then and he was like, "Dude, no, I didn't die. I'm here."
oh, is that what it is? I didn't
Yeah.
even know how it started.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's dead
That's
for
why it's
real, I
called yeah,
promise.
that's why it's called the Mandela effect.
Okay, now you've got me second guessing it. Is he dead? Because he
I
very well
don't
could
know.
not be.
He's probably one of those dudes he's never going to actually be dead. Like he's just
Well,
going to keep coming back and be like, "Just kidding, bitches. I'm still here."
well, he has looked like he's been 85 for the past, like, well, for my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So I would assume that he's dead because of his age. But, I mean, Keith Richards is still here, so who the fuck knows?
Yikes. Right?
Yeah. Well, moving on, Netscape Navigator released, quickly becoming the market leader for processing the web. So instead
Yes.
of Google, instead of Yahoo, you got Netscape.
Yep.
And that
And it
was
got
some shit.
that cool ass sound when you were logging on.
Yeah, I don't remember how it goes.
That happened.
Oh, you're talking about, isn't that AOL Messenger? Like
Oh, I don't know.
connecting to.
I thought that was just like getting on the internet at all.
Mm. No, Netscape was it was a web browser, just like Google and Ask Jeeves.
Oh.
You not know
Okay.
what a web browser is?
Yeah, I know what that is. I
Sweetheart.
guess I don't know. I
God,
don't
it's a
know.
good thing you're pretty.
I don't
Good,
know.
good God.
Whatever.
Um, O.J.
Something in the
Simpson.
computer made that noise. That's all I know.
It was in the little box. It made a noise. Can you let the little man out of the box?
Yes.
Jeez.
The little man needs oxygen.
Right? This comes from the same person that tried to fry bologna in a CD drive.
Yeah, and the same dude that turns on the light inside the refrigerator.
Yeah. All right. Well, also in 1994, O.J. Simpson fled the police in his white Ford Bronco.
Fleed?
Also, side note, fleed? Yeah,
Fleed? Fled?
fleed. Fled? Fleed.
Fled?
I like how you were like, fleed is not a thing, but I'm over here like, totally a thing. Fleed, fleed. It sounded
Is it?
right. No, it's not. The word is fled. My brain is
Okay, Miss
broken.
Broyles.
I know. I was still stuck on the little man in the fridge. Like it caught up to me as I'm sitting here going, fleed, 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 fleed.
I threw off your mojo. Sorry.
What the fuck? Um,
Sorry.
Side
Tell
note,
us more about the world's slowest police chase.
well, this white Bronco, I've actually seen it in person because it is parked at the Alcatraz Museum of Crime in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Hell
So,
yeah.
yep, I got to see OJ's white Bronco. Um, yeah, there's not much to say about that. We were pretty young. I was 7 when all of this happened. So I don't remember sitting in front of the TV like, oh shit, man, OJ's gonna get fucked. Like, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't really remember like watching it on TV. I just remember that like my grandmother was like super into buying those trashy magazines like the Globe and the National Enquirer, and he
Hmm.
was like, and she would like keep them in the bathroom, so I would always read them while I was sitting on the toilet. And
Nice.
so I figured out all
Classy.
about I figured out everything about John Benet Ramsey, O.J. Simpson, like all that shit that happened during that like 1993 to like 1997 time frame when all of the well, I mean, all their stories are still crazy, but when they had like some really juicy shit. And oh,
Right.
speaking of really juicy shit, so also in 1990 Lisa Marie Presley married Michael Jackson. And according to a September 6th, 1994 issue of Weekly World News, which was like one of those trash mags, Elvis spoke for the first time since his fake 1977 funeral and told Lisa Marie to divorce Michael. I mean,
I mean,
they
straight from the horse's mouth. If he
straight
commands
from the
it,
horse's
you
mouth.
must do it.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote it in the magazine, so it must happen,
Well,
right?
yeah. If the king comes back to life to disapprove of your husband choices, you need to change the way you're living.
Right. So
Um,
there was that.
yeah. Kurt Cobain commits suicide. Some
Courtney
people,
killed him.
yeah, there are alternate theories.
Yeah.
Who knows? He could have pulled the trigger with his big toe. You don't know.
Yeah, but all that heroin in his system, they said he had enough heroin in his system to kill like several large horses. Like,
Yeah,
and they said it takes, I mean, I've never done heroin, I don't know, but they said that it takes effect like super quickly. And so he would have had to like do it how I guess he injected it into himself and then go over to the bed and then position himself and have enough, you know, consciousness left to position the gun and pull the trigger with
yeah.
his toe.
I don't
But
think it works as quick as you're imagining,
I don't know. I just, it's
but
like I
still.
watched this documentary about it like
Oh, of
two
course.
weekends ago. Yeah,
Of course
I
you
love a
did.
good, I love a good documentary. But they interviewed Courtney's dad, and he's pretty much convinced that she did it. And I'm
All
like, that
right.
says a lot when your own dad thinks that you did it. Like he kept like skirting around the issue. Like he didn't say, he didn't come out and say like she did it, but he's like, we've had a strained relationship. She's a very violent person. She's a very crazy person. Like we don't
Mm,
talk anymore. She's capable of anything.
good Lord.
And he doesn't, and he, on top of all that, he doesn't buy the official story of suicide. So I'm like, dude, that's pretty bad when your own dad's saying you killed your husband.
Right.
But
Well,
I don't know.
who knows? It is an unsolved mystery that will always go unsolved, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
And among other things, in 1994, we've also got some amazing songs that came out. So, as of January 1st, 1994, the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 chart was Honey by Mariah Carey, which totally used to jam out to that song. That was my jam.
I
Loved it.
honestly don't even remember it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then as of December 31st, 1994, the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 chart was Boys to Men on Bended Knee.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah, I can't really remember that song that much, but I did look it up. The number one song as a whole for the whole entire year in 1994 spent 14 weeks at number one, and it was Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You. Now, if you don't know that, you get out.
Right?
Everybody knows that song.
Yes.
I wish we could play a little clip of it right now. That would be awesome.
Maybe I'll figure out a way to add that post production.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Or if we can't do that, then you know what happens instead?
What?
I make love to
Love to
you
you like
like
you
you
want
want
me
me
to.
to. I don't know the rest of the song. That's all I know, so that's what I'm gonna sing to you.
And I'll
Are,
hold you tight, baby, all through the night.
are
Come
you wet
on,
now?
man.
Are you wet yet?
Total panty dropper right there.
Exactly. You know what? Fuck trying to find the song. I think that was better.
Right? I mean,
Boom.
I don't claim to be good at singing, so I ain't ashamed.
No, it's all
Fine.
good. What were some popular movies in '94?
So, in my opinion, the number one movie of the year was The Lion King.
Of course.
Although I will say I did look it up to see what the actual number one movie was in order of like how much it grossed at the box office, and the
Hmm.
number one movie was Forrest Gump.
Well, that makes sense.
But guess what was number two?
Hmm.
The
The
Lion
Lion King.
King. But some other popular movies from 1994 would be Pulp Fiction, Shawshank
Amazing.
Redemption,
Never seen
Clerks,
it.
The Little Rascals, The Crow, Dumb and Dumber.
The Crow is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
It's funny because when me and Chris were sitting around talking about I was looking at that the I think it was a top 100 movies at what it grossed at the box office, and I was listing them off, and he was like, "Dude, talk to Kristen about The Crow. She loves that movie."
Yeah, it's I've got a copy of it right here to my right on my DVD shelf.
Hmm.
It's Amazeballs, and I watch it probably once every 6 months.
Nice.
So
I've
good.
never
It's
seen it. I have no idea what it's about.
oh my God, it's amazing. It is about this young, freshly engaged couple. They had like just gotten engaged for like a week, and they were so cute and so in love. And then there's this like time like right before Halloween where these fucking punks go out and start fires in the city and just start like robbing and killing people. And these people just happened to come up in their apartment and killed his fiance right there in front of him, and they pushed him out the window of his apartment, and of course he fell down and he died. But there's this like spirit crow thing that brought him back from the dead so that he could avenge him and his fiance's death by killing all the bad guys and restoring peace and order. It is based on a comic book, but it has like the best gothy vibe to it. It just makes me so happy. Plus, it's
So,
got Brandon Lee. He is the son of Bruce Lee, and he was a drop dead gorgeous panty dropper. Oh,
didn't he die
yes, he died during the filming
on the
of the
set?
movie.
Yes, with the
Yes,
gun that wasn't supposed to be loaded.
it was
It was
it
supposed to be loaded with blanks,
it was loaded with a blank,
and they
but
put too
it
much.
no, it was something went wrong with the prop and it like still shot like a projectile at him. It wasn't a bullet or anything. It just whatever happened shot what the blank like the wrong way or something. It's complicated, but yeah, he still ended up getting shot in the stomach.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing that on one of my crazy documentaries that I watch.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yes, that
So is this
was
like a Halloweeny type version of Ghost? Because it's kind of what it sounds like.
no, not really. It's got less romance than Ghost.
Oh. Hmm.
More badass, I'm gonna kill everybody, and more like okay, it's if Ghost and Edward Scissorhands made a baby. It's The Crow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has an Edward Scissorhands feel. It's
All right.
not a Tim Burton film by any
Mm-hmm.
means, but it's so good. Go watch it.
Nice. Okay.
Everybody, if you're listening, go watch The Crow. If you don't have anything to do for Halloween and you're just sitting around and you want to watch something kind of spoopy, The Crow is
Nice.
so good. And
Good to
plus,
know.
yeah, you're gonna be sitting there watching it and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this Brandon Lee, I am so sad that he's dead now because I'm totally about to fap to a dead dead guy. I'm gonna fap to a dead guy. There, I said it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yikes.
Speaking of hot guys and diddling and all of this, we have our top 25 dick stories. We are going to
Yes.
go quickly down the list. We're going to try not to go way too off topic, but just
Yes.
kind of explain them quickly. Number one, anytime anyone says penis around us, the very first thing we think of is the giant inflatable penis that CJ's ex fiance's father wore around for Halloween, and it caught fire because of the little pump mechanical
The
battery
fan.
operated thing. The fan, that's what it
The
is.
fan that blows it up and makes it have an erection.
Yeah, it caught on fire, and then in the yard you had this giant inflatable penis on fire, rolling left to right, trying to get the fire out.
Yes.
Yes.
If you would like to hear the full uncut story with all the other
The
hilarious
uncircumcised story.
yes.
Oh.
If you would like to hear the full uncircumcised story, refer back to our special Halloween special. And
Oh,
we
that's right.
yeah, we told the full story
That's right.
on
Oh,
in that episode.
also, while we're here, first, before we dig way too deep into this, always check us out, Facebook, I'm going to say YouTube. We are going to do a second annual special Halloween special that is going to be on the books eventually, once Halloween comes around. So check that out on YouTube. There is SoundCloud is where you can find us, iTunes, our website through Wix. You can find that on our Facebook page. Remember that one time. We are on Twitter, Instagram. I don't think I've got us on Tumblr, but nobody goes to Tumblr anymore since they banned nudity.
Yeah,
Um,
what kind of fun is that?
I know exactly. My little sister was so pissed about it. She was like, the only reason I ever go on there is to like look at, stuff, like naked stuff. Now
Naked
they got
stuff.
rid of my naked stuff, so fuck it. I deleted the fucking app. Yeah, she was so
I
mad.
guess I'll just have to go to Pornhub like everybody else.
I guess. How dare. So yeah, so we'll now that you know where to find us and interact with us, which is how we got half of these stories. Holy shit, thank you people. Um yeah, so the next one, number 2 on our 25 favorite dick stories, I made a penis-shaped cake for CJ's bachelorette party a couple months back, like 2 years ago. Holy shit, that's been forever. Um, I made it and I didn't think about the fact that if you put icing on a cake directly out of the oven, that's gonna melt the icing. So she
Yeah.
had this cake with this chocolate icing just like completely melted off of it. It was like pooling around it. It looked so disgusting.
We should post a picture of that.
Yeah,
That
I've
should
got
be
it
the
somewhere.
background. That should be the background for this whole episode.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll find it somewhere.
I like it.
Um, it's very quickly and uh, timely. Can you explain your first experience with jizz?
If we're making it, if we're saying it quickly, basically, I got it in my hand. It was really sticky and gross. And so I had it in the palm of my left hand. I touched it with my right index finger and it strung between my hand and my index finger for probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches before it broke away. And I was completely grossed out and I threw up in the sink.
Yes. It was traumatizing.
It
And
was.
anytime I see a pool of sperm anywhere, like that's just
You
something you
think of
see.
me.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
that's exactly the reaction that I should have had because I was far too young to be doing that in the first place. So
Exactly.
serves me
Because
right.
if you see or touch a penis before you're 21, you're going to get pregnant and die.
Well, 21 is a stretch, I think, but I had no business to be doing that as young as I was.
Exactly. Let's see. The next one we earlier we were speaking of Plum Nelly. That is the my family's quote unquote lake house, and it is right on the banks of the Tennessee River. And so my what 20 something ish birthday, me, my
I think
ex-husband,
like
and CJ,
23rd,
23rd maybe,
I
yeah.
think.
We went to Plum Nelly and we got bored and decided we were going to build a sandcastle, but instead we made a sand penis because we are who we are.
Yes,
So this was very impressive because not only was this a sand penis, it was a functioning sand penis. So you
it
had,
was.
it was, we even took like river seaweed, I guess it'd be algae, and put around the base so it would look like, some strangly pubes. Pubes. We made the
Mind you, there was
balls.
like all kinds of families and children
Oh yeah, that place is always riddled with kids. Fuck them.
Yeah, and and they quickly evacuated.
Exactly. Like you've got parents shielding the kids' eyes. Look away.
Didn't we buried your ex-husband in the sand and made it look like it was coming out of his mouth or something, didn't we?
Not that, but what we did do was made a little hole at the bottom, and that way every time, and we hollowed out the penis. So there was a hole at the top and a hole in the bottom of the sand. So anytime a wave came by, it would go underneath and up and out of the tip of the sand penis.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So it was fully functioning. So
Yes.
anytime,
Until the water washed away the testicles one wave at a time.
yeah, exactly. The testicles slowly, you know what? Just in real life, they slowly got lower and lower and droopier.
And flat.
Yeah, and flat. They until they just eventually disappeared.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. I made penis muffins once because I really, 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 really wanted blueberry muffins, but this bitch does not have a muffin pan. What she does have is a penis mold, the same mold that I used to make CJ's bachelorette penis. So I made muffins in my penis mold and I sat here for breakfast and I ate blueberry penises.
Yeah.
Um,
That's exactly
yes.
the way I like my penises, blueberry flavored.
Blueberry flavored, exactly. There was, of course, the apartment dildo, that giant purple one that we would stick on the roof of door frames so that it would smack people in the head. And now we'll move on to actual penises attached to actual people. We are going to leave names for the most part out of this. So these people, hang on, words are hard. Names will be redacted for purposes of anonymity. But there was a guy that I once met sometime between the age of like, I don't know, young and now. And I'm trying not to be so specific. Um, he had what I affectionately and tenderly refer to as a Sasquatch peen because for some reason, it didn't just have hair at the bottom. It kept going, and I'm pretty sure there was hair around the tip. And I'm like, okay, cool. You should probably call somebody on the Discovery Channel because they've been looking for you.
Like, where the fuck are you from?
Exactly. This is, I mean, it's not something I'm into. Congratulations. I'm sure there's a fetish and there's a girl out there for you. I ain't it.
Yeah.
Then there was and I've already mentioned this guy once if you want to go back to our internet dating episode, I think it was like episode 4 or 5, online dating, and this guy I have not seen in so long that I am confident that he does not listen. His name was Matt, and I refer to him as Matt, the huge donged b-ball player, because he was a basketball player and he had the biggest dong I've ever seen in my life. It was scary, like
Yeah. See, like
intimidating.
when they're that big, like that's scary. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't
Oh,
want
I
that.
had something to do with that. I
I
found
don't.
something to do with that.
I don't want that in or around me. Get that away from me. Like that's just abnormal. Like just I mean, same way as like, a micro penis, like it's right up there with a micro penis. If you got you want to slap some big old dong on the table and it's like a foot long, get GTFO. Like
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I need some sort of normalcy happening
Yeah,
in
like
European region.
I just need something normal and average.
Exactly. I don't ask for much.
Right.
Yeah. And so there was another one in my period of whoring that had this dick that would have been fine had it gone the other direction. Now curves are not always bad. Sometimes if they're curved to one side or another, it can hit spots that normally you wouldn't, that you would need help hitting. That's fine. This one, however, was the saddest looking penis I've ever seen in my life because, okay, when you close your eyes and you hear the sound, wow, like what do you imagine? You
Well,
imagine something that was hard going completely downwards, like facing down. Well, That's what it looked like, but it was hard too.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, it's going in your vag, but it might come back out your asshole.
Yeah, exactly. It
Like,
was
ooh,
terrifying. Yeah, I'm like,
that's
I'm
not a good
sorry.
thing.
Right. You look at it and I'm like, I'm sorry. Did I make it mad? Like, why is it running away? I'm sorry, dude. Come
Oh
back.
my god.
Yeah. Let's see. I have
Oh,
got a couple. Yeah.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
So when how before we talked about Chris's drunken speech about how Tennessee is the best
Oh my God.
state
And how we're
in
not moving to Texas, even though nobody suggested we were going to move to Texas.
it was California, but yeah.
Mm.
So I have a drunken speech that I gave to Chris about why I think that I lucked out big time in the being born a girl department and why I think it would be terrifying to be a guy. And so my whole thesis on this whole subject was basically like having a penis just seems like a giant inconvenience. Like you constantly have to worry about, am I going to get hit a stray ball? Maybe somebody is like flailing their arms and telling a really animated story and they accidentally whack me in the dick. Like, I just constantly have to be worried about what's going to hit me in the crotch and it's going to be terrible. Like, you also have to worry about like boners in public or in awkward places and times. Like, you know, like, okay, I normally go and get massages routinely. And obviously you start out on your stomach and then you lay on your back and they'll do your shoulders and top of your head or face, whatever. Like, imagine laying there being a dude. Like, what if the female is attractive and all of a sudden you're popping a tent in your pants or under the sheet? Like, that's got to be like horribly embarrassing. And then like the whole dealing with like changing in a locker room, like in front of a bunch of guys. Like, is it more embarrassing to have an erection and show how big you are, or not have an erection at all? Like, what if you're a grower, not a shower? Like, you know.
How about you just don't get turned on by guys in locker rooms?
Well, no, like when you're a teenager, like you just get boners at random times. Like
Yeah.
Chris was telling me, like in high school, like that's why a bunch of the guys carry their books in front of them because they just pop boners at random ass times. It has nothing being turned on. It's just,
God,
it,
could
and
you
I'm like,
imagine
that
if
sounds literally like a nightmare every
no.
single day.
No, could
Just
you imagine though if girls did that? Like if suddenly like, ooh, we got a swollen clit and our nips are hard, like no reason whatsoever. Let's just go like rub
right,
ourselves against the wall or something. What the fuck?
right. And then there's the whole other realm about having to worry about accidentally sitting on your balls. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? Like, do this weird like pelvic thrust every time you go to sit down so you can flop them up and then sit down real quick before they come back and slap in between your thighs? Like,
That seems like so
how does
much
that,
work.
it does. And then you got to worry about, like, what if you don't want to go commando, or what if you're a typical dude and you're living by yourself and you forgot to do laundry for 6 weeks in a row? Now you don't have any underwear. Now you're going commando. You zip up your pants and, oh, I just zipped up my dick, or I just zipped up my ball sack, or zipped up my pubes, or something. Like,
That's unfortunate.
yeah, like, plus like the whole feeling of like balls like sticking to your thighs, like baloney balls and all that. Like,
Baloney balls.
baloney balls and like tickling the inside of your thighs. Like, it all sounds fucking terrible. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what all these other bitches say. They whine about periods all the time. A period is not that bad. It's really not. At
You
least
would
for
rather
me.
have your genitalia bleed for a week
Yes.
than to deal
Than
with
have it
having a penis.
have it hang outside my body. Yes. Because I only have to worry about it bleeding for a few days every month. Their penises and ball sacks are hanging outside their body 24/7. Like, that sounds like the worst thing humanly possible, and I want nothing to do with it. So that was my drunk speech
Wow.
that I gave. And he laughed and he was just like, "You're fucking ridiculous." Like,
But you
all of
make some
that.
strong points.
And yeah, he was like, all of that is no big deal, but the fact that you bleed for 7 days and don't die is like horribly disastrous. And I'm like, it's really not. It's not a big deal. I've
Mm-mm.
never thought it was a big deal. Like, I don't know, maybe I just lucked out. I don't get cramps, I don't get PMS. Hell, since I got the Mirena, I don't have a period anymore at all. But I mean, it's just never been, even when I had one, it was never really a huge deal. But I don't know, maybe to some girls it is. It's like this, ordeal every
Yeah,
month, but it ain't no big deal to me.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah. So there was that. And oh, speaking of Chris, when I took him to get his vasectomy, he was like really really scared. And so before he went, he takes a shot of Jack, and I was like, "Dude, you're like about to go get cut on. Like, why are you trying to take shots of alcohol? Like, that just sounds like a bad idea." But he was so scared. He was like, "I'm taking a shot of Jack. I got to get through this." And so the whole time that he was doing that, I was watching a YouTube video, a vasectomy video, so I could see what they were going to do. And then when they came out to the waiting room to get him, I got up and I was going to go with him, and they told me that I couldn't, and I was really sad.
Mm.
Yeah. I was
Womp
like, "What's
womp.
the big deal? Like, you're sitting here saying it's not a big deal. It's not. It's an in and out procedure. He's gonna be done in 10 minutes. Why can't I come see?" But they were all like, "No, you can't." I'm like, "Bitch, I want to see."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't allow spectators during surgery
Well,
unless
it's
you're in like
stupid.
Johns Hopkins or something.
I mean, it wasn't even like a surgery. Like, it was, they just took him into a regular exam room, and
Wow.
they like,
Snip, snip.
yeah, that he said they like rubber banded his dick, and
Nice.
then like did the thing, put him in stirrups, did the thing. He saw some smoke drifting up between his legs, and they said, "Okay, you're done." And that was it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
as many times as I've been in stirrups and like trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in that direction, I've never seen smoke, and that would weird me out so bad.
yeah, I don't think I ever have either.
No, if you see smoke coming out of your snatch, does that mean like a new pope has been hired?
I don't know what that means. I have no idea.
Who knows? Um, let's see, moving on to our 25 favorite dick stories. I have two involving the lovely Johnny Cherry that everyone is fond of and well aware of.
Yes.
There's the most famous Johnny Cherry incident of all time when he got his dick piercing stuck in a motorcycle, what he was riding. So the idiot's got his fucking dick pierced to begin with, which is stupid. But he was, yeah, just riding this motorcycle, and all of a sudden he was in front of us, and he flags over and pulls over in a Sonic parking lot and like stands up off his bike, jabs his hand directly down his pants right here in front of God and Sonic, and just starts like wiggling shit around while he's like screaming all at the same time. And we're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Apparently, the space between the seat and the gas tank of his motorcycle, he like leaned up too far, and he got his like dick piercing stuck through his pants or
Oh
something.
God.
Yeah, it was a problem. That
Oh, was there like blood everywhere?
that I didn't ask about his penal blood. I couldn't stop laughing long enough to ask if he was okay. Yeah, I'm
Meanwhile,
that
he's
friend.
bleeding out from the dick in a
Right.
Sonic parking lot, and you're just like laughing, just cackling off to the side.
Exactly. Well, his second best story about his stupid dick and his stupid piercings. Oh, also, he's like ancient as fuck and he keeps having babies. So that's another miracle. Like, you've pierced it, you have put it through so much bullshit. Why are you still having kids?
Oh
What
my
the fuck
God.
is wrong with you? Um, yeah, so here's a listener submission. Mr. Johnny Cherry himself has submitted that one time he hung jingle bells off of his piercings and went to Gentleman Jim's, which is a bar in College Town here, Merber. He went to Jim's and whipped out his dick with his jingle bells on his piercing to ask if anyone had heard bells. It was Christmas. He decorated.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had jingle balls.
That
Dum.
sounds just like Johnny Cherry.
It does. It really is. It does not surprise me at all. Let's see. Now, with all the confusion that we had earlier, we have now finally gotten to the cake that I made CJ for her 25th birthday. And the
Yeah.
cake was shaped like a sperm. It was white, it had a little tail, and on the top of it, it said, "I'm glad you were the fastest sperm." And what was the fallout of that cake?
So my little cousin, who I would say was probably 6 or 7 at the time, and he was like whatever age they're just learning to read. So I guess
Mhm.
yeah, about 7, 6 or 7, I don't know. And
Yeah, I don't
so
know, kids.
he's like looking at this cake and he kind of like cocks his head to the side and he like his mom was standing right next to us and he was like, "What's a sperm?" And that was the day that we had to have the birds and the bees conversation with him
Yes.
because he wanted to know why his cousin was the fastest sperm and what a sperm was. So that was fun.
Right. Educational. It was entertaining and educational.
Yeah, it's probably not how she envisioned giving the birds and the bees talk to her son, but it's whatever, you know.
Yeah, at least he didn't have to hear about it on the school bus like the rest of us.
Right?
Yes. So that happened. I'm looking at, yeah. You've got a couple more stories before I go on to a couple of my listener submissions.
Okay, there's this one. I'm just going to take it cuz I don't know if you're going to tell it or if I am cuz we're both involved, but
Go
we
for it.
yeah, we had what we affectionately call the apartment dildo. And so it was this dildo with a suction cup on it.
Dude, do
And
you even listen to me? Because I've already covered that.
did you seriously?
I seriously did.
Where was I?
I don't know.
What this episode? Because I know we've talked about it in
Yes.
an episode before. You covered it in this episode.
Yes, the purple apartment dildo that we put in the door frame so that it hits people in the head.
Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% positive. I cannot wait to produce this
Is
and for you to
this
listen
is going
back.
to be like that time we were headed east and you were like, "We're headed straight to
No, no, no,
Camden."
no, no. I am not out of my mind. This is not a medical issue. This is a CJ is not listening to her own podcast while she's recording it. You stop
Okay.
screaming,
All
sir.
right. I'll I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? Well, that's good to know.
Okay, moving on. So there was this time when me and our other friend Marinara were at our favorite dance spot in Murfreesboro, and we were having a good time. And there was this dude that was trying to like kind of hook up with her, trying to take her home, pick her up, whatnot. And he wanted to talk to her, and it was too loud in the bar to talk. So he was like, "Let's go sit in my car and talk." And I was like, "Dude, I'm
Mm-mm.
on to you. I know what you're trying to do. So guess what? I'm coming with you." And so
Chaperone time.
I cock blocked him by laying in the parking lot directly under his back tires. So if he tried to pull out of the parking spot, he would have to run over me to do it. And if
Nice.
that's not dedication, I don't know what the fuck is. Have you ever had somebody lay down in front of a car for you?
No.
Right.
But I
So there was,
also don't talk to sketchy ass guys at bars, so there's that.
well, that's true. You also don't go to bars.
Not
So
often.
there is that.
I mean, I go to bars every Monday night now, but I'm doing it
Well,
for
that's,
work.
yeah, you're getting paid.
Mm,
So we can never ever forget the story of the first time that I saw
an
a
uncircumcised
an
penis.
uncircumcised
Yes.
penis. Yeah.
It
So
was a Courtney's slightly racist moment.
it, the guy did not take it like that. He
He
thought
did
it was
not.
hysterical. And I did not mean it like that either. I totally didn't. Like I was just saying what I thought I was looking at. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so long story short, I was doing this like it was basically an interview where they brought in naked dudes and the interviewer would ask you questions, like ask you to critique their bodies in front of them basically. And so this dude came in and he kind of had this weird looking dick, but I was like, okay, all dicks are different, whatever. It just kind of looked like it was inside some sort of like casing and had been burned on the end. So I didn't know what I was looking at. And so the interviewer asked me if I had ever seen an uncircumcised penis before, and I said no. And she said, "Well, what do you think you're looking at right now?" And I was like, "I don't know. I thought that was an Asian thing," because the guy was Asian, and he died laughing. I've never seen anybody laugh so hard. He like, and he hugged me too. He, butt ass naked, dude, like straight up. He fell on the floor laughing for like 10 minutes, then hugged me and thanked me for the best laugh of his life, and then left. And I never saw him again. And they paid me $100, and then I left. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
I'll take it.
Right.
Yes.
So, some other listener contributions uh, from my husband. He actually had a couple. So I guess he was at the pool hall with one of his friends, and they were about to break. And so he goes and stands at the opposite end of the table, and he grabs his ball sack and grabs his dick, and he's like, I don't know what he said, like get some or something, fuck
Get
you or
wrecked.
something like that. So the guy like breaks as hard as he possibly can. The cue ball goes straight across and hits Chris square in the dick.
Well,
Right
it's
in the
kind
dick.
of what he gets.
And the only, like, he grabbed a handful of it, and like right between his thumb and index finger, the only part of his dick that was exposed, that's the part it just hit straight right in there and just like dropped him to his knees, like right there in the
Nice.
pool hall. So I'm like, I mean, this is the first, like, he told me this like 30 minutes ago. This is
Nice.
the first time I'm hearing about this story ever. And I was like, dude, why did we even pay for that vasectomy? You probably can't
Right?
have kids anyway. We could have saved ourselves a lot of money here. And
Dude,
especially after he told me his second story where he accidentally whipped himself in the dick with a bullwhip. Like, just like straight, like chopped it. Just,
dude, he has got so much dick trauma.
I know, dude. I'm like, poor thing.
Take better care of that. Like
This
that's
all
the
happened before me, dude.
No, I'm not saying you do. He needs to.
Oh, yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's not up to you to protect his peen. I'm pretty sure he needs to do that.
Right.
Yes,
Like, I
PYP,
can't be
protect
with you
your
all the
peen.
time, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
So we also had a listener submission. She said she was so she's super drunk. She goes home with this guy. She's never, she met him that night, and just basically one night stand type thing. And just they're both just super super drunk. So she gets on top of him, and she thought that she put it in, but she didn't. And she starts like, bouncing up and down and moaning and stuff. And he's like, dude, it's not even in. And she was
Nice.
like, oh shit, I'm just gonna
Oops.
leave because that's embarrassing. Like, I don't
Right?
know who it's more embarrassing for, like the dude or her. Like, it's pretty bad.
Right.
Um,
Like
whoa.
sorry. He normally doesn't make any noise whatsoever, but when he does, it's ear-shattering. I'm
Yikes.
sorry. You, sir, need to calm down.
Calm your
Thank you.
tits.
Yes.
So
Calm your
we
gray fluffy tits.
going back to the whole like giant monster dick, like scary
Mm-hmm.
to the point that it's like terrifying. So we had another friend. She was talking to this guy. In his defense, he warned her. Like, he told her, like, I have a massive dick, and she just, I guess she was expecting like, 7, 8 inches.
Or
He
expecting
pulls
it to
out
be
this like,
normal and the guy like just overinflating his ego.
right. So he whips out this fucking 11-inch monster.
Jesus.
And she was literally so taken aback that she just takes a huge deep breath and she goes, Mama didn't raise no bitch. And just goes for it, dude. Just like face first.
Nice.
Goes for it. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Right?
So, another, like, these are all different people. So, a different, speaking of dick trauma, this guy took a tongue ring to the pee hole.
Still going.
Like, I
It's
can't
okay.
even.
I'm looking at a name in our notes. Is that who I think it is?
No, not that one.
Okay, good. Because I was about to get really concerned
Oh,
and excited.
no, not. I'll tell you after we stop recording. But yeah, he
Okay.
took a tongue ring to the pee hole. So not really sure how that happened. I don't really know how tongue rings work, but yeah. What?
Okay, so you've heard the squawking in the background. So Ethan comes out to get grumpy old man and take him to put him in his cage in another room so he'll shut up.
Hmm.
And he couldn't get him to like step up to move because he doesn't really do that. So he picked up his entire playpen thing, his play place, picked it up and was walking across the room with it. And you don't know where he is. Oh Jesus. Okay. Do you mind holding for just a second? No, you've
Sure.
got it. Okay. No, he's okay. Ethan just walked into the bedroom with a towel and said, "Don't worry, I got this," and shut the door. I don't know what he's gonna do with my
Oh
bird.
my God.
Yeah, so yeah, he flew off of the little play place thing. That's the flapping that you heard, the flap plus the scream.
Hmm.
So he's currently wrangling a very angry, grumpy old bird. Sorry.
Bless it.
I will delete this. Before
So,
that happened,
yeah. Um, so before, this was probably, I don't know, like maybe a month ago. It was really recent. Um, there was this new patient that came in at work and he brought his kid. And the kid was like kind of that age where they're not really like shouldn't be going to the bathroom by themselves because they'll probably make a mess. So he
hmm
goes in the bathroom and the bathroom is like right near my desk. So I can hear everything. And so what I thought I heard was it sounded like the kid peed first and then the dad was in there and he was like, okay, well, I might as well pee while I'm in here. And so the dad starts peeing, and all I hear is the kid scream, wow, there's a lot of piss coming out of that thing, Dad.
nice.
I'm like, and this is like, I heard it. Everybody in the waiting room heard it. Like, multiple people chuckled. It was hilarious. I mean, the dad was probably like, he made eye contact with me when he came out of the bathroom because he knew that I had heard it. And
Yeah,
I
he
knew that
knew
he knew
everyone
I
knew.
heard it. It was, oh my God, it was so funny. He was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, it's fine, you know. And speaking of little boys, so I was in like maybe kindergarten, first grade. I was in like an after school care type thing. And the teacher was reading us a book. So the teacher is facing all of us, and we're all sitting in a circle around her, facing her. And this little boy was on like the very edge of the circle. And so he got up, and she didn't notice him. And he stood behind her and pulled his pants down and showed his little tiny first grade penis to everybody at circle time. Like he pulled his pants down and then he looked down like as if to check that it was still there and then like pointed to it like look at this, look what I got.
Right?
I was
Are you
like
not
dying.
impressed?
I started crying.
Oh,
I was I was a little kid. I didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, "Oh my God, I don't have that. What the fuck is that? What's
well,
wrong with him?"
he has a parasite of some sort.
Yeah, like what the fuck is that thing? It's terrible.
Right,
So,
somebody needs to call the authorities.
right. And so my last submission is again from husband Chris. I didn't know this until tonight either. He apparently got stung by a jellyfish on his balls and on his dick on the same day. Like I've never been stung by a jellyfish before, but I imagine it doesn't feel good. And that just
Yeah,
sounds yikes. So
of all the places.
after he told me of all of this penis trauma, I'm pretty convinced that we never needed to pay for that vasectomy. Like it was
Right?
completely unneeded.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, I just had two more submissions, but they were doozies. I promised to keep things anonymous, but let's see. We had one, and I will read them verbatim because they came in hilarious anyways. So we have first one. I thought I met a guy a couple years ago when Shithead and I broke up. Dinner, drinks, had a good time. Went back to his place, total micro penis. It was like a fat clit. It was sad. He went to town like he was King Kong while I laid there trying to decide whether or not I could feel anything. I left and ghosted him. Couldn't bring myself to tell him why. I kind of felt bad about it, but it made me think of my boys when they were little and it made me feel like a creeper. True story.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
Yikes.
Thank you for
Yeah,
submission.
I would probably feel the same way, like creeper material right there.
Right. And our last story of the night is probably one of my favorites because I personally know who it came from, which makes it really, really funny for me. I'm not going to share because I'm a good person, although I would really like to because it makes it a billion times funnier, but
It really does.
it does. So,
Especially considering the story that she told us a couple of weeks ago.
which one?
The one.
The
The,
one
the one
that made her
we got on
cry?
video. Yeah, that made everybody cry.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Okay. So here goes. So I was a single mama to a 3-month-old, and I hadn't had sex in close to 2 years. Broke up with the bio father while I was 3 months pregnant. Okay, well, me and my BFF were out, and we had flirted with this guy for a few months. We both liked him, and he asked me to go for a ride. We went to his family's farm. It started getting hot and heavy, and out came the dick. It felt strange in my hand. I had to see it, so I turned the cab light on. It was big and curved. I mean, hard as a rock, and it was looking up at him. Yeah, it was looking up at him with its one eye. Not a little curve, it was shaped like a U. So, remember the one I was talking about earlier that was like shaped like a U but pointing down? This one was shaped like a U but pointing up.
It's like the mirror image of that
Yeah.
one.
She said, I was so horny, but I couldn't stop thinking that it might poke out of my belly button once it was inside me. I was laughing so hard and I kept pissing him off. Needless to say, he took me back to my BFF and never spoke to either one of us again.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Poor guys
For real though, like, is it so much to ask? Like, can
to
we
have
just
a normal penis.
just a normal penis? I'm
That's
not
all I
asking for
want.
anything special. I don't want anything crazy. You don't need to be no porn star craziness. Like, just normal.
Yeah. Just if we could rename the episode, it's Please Have a Normal Dick.
Exactly.
Yes. Episode 25, Please Have a Normal Dick. I like it.
Yes.
Well, what did we learn this episode?
I don't know. What did you learn?
I learned that our listeners also have had to deal with disappointing dicks, not just us.
And I learned that 1994 was a banging year.
It sure was. I miss it. R.I.P.
Yep.
Next episode, we actually have an idea this time. Instead of being like, YOLO, you'll find out later. We are going to go over times that we were super bougie because we don't have kids. Instead, we have money. And with that money, we go do unnecessarily bougie bullshit. I can't talk. Unnecessarily bougie bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
Also, tell us your bougie ass stories. I know we're not the only ones out here living it up. So if you have done something that was completely extra that you're super proud of and you want to tell the world, yeah, that's right. I, sipped champagne off of some celebrities or shipped. Ugh.
Oh my god. How many drinks have you had?
I have been drinking iced tea. I swear. It's not even Long Island.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So yeah, something super bougie. Imagine, what I was trying to say, something about champagne and caviar and cocaine and celebrities and shit.
Taking body shots off of a model on a yacht or something.
Yeah, shit like that. If you're an Instagram, what do you call it? An influencer? Yeah, tell us your bougie shit.
Crock of bullshit.
We will. There we go. There's a good topic for next week too. We will talk about being bougie and how much we hate influencers.
Yes.
That sounds like a good time.
Like, stop trying to tell me how to live my fucking life.
Exactly. I can put my makeup on however the fuck I want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, until next time, remember to always say yes to adventures, for they become stories, and in the end, that is all we are. Good night.
Peace.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.